I can smell a conspiracy when I see one. Fake zombies, fake weapons, fake spirit weapons, fake critic associations. And if I were trying to set someone up, I would tell them to listen to this show. Patreon.com/WassessCast Productions. For less than the cost of my favorite warship in the Varick Industries fleet, you can give us, money. That's bonus episodes, early access, and exclusive content just for you. In case you didn't hear me the first time, that's patreon.com/WassessCast Productions. Now we've got a show to do. Editor, do the thing!
They've got you running through the night. Yes, it's terror time again. And you just might die of fright. It's terrifying time.
Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to have allegedly stolen the rights to the Iowa Film Critics Association. You know, what can I say? You see an empty seat, you take it. I'm AJ Waseska, and I'm joined by my cold-hearted war machine and assistant, Ryan Metters. Ryan, do the thing.
I'm still not sure what the thing is, Aaron. Come
No,
on,
the
man.
thing. You know, the email we tell people about.
Sure. If you want to reach us with whatever conspiracy theories or fake movie plots you want to pitch, you can surely reach us at thisisafake@. You know, I did that thing where I read the direction for improv instead of actually doing the improv. Yeah, no, that's evacstation@gmail.com.
There's no directions for improv. You just take the ball and you run with it, and hopefully no one goes home with it.
No, you see on the script it says fake email@gmail. Yeah, and anyway.
If you want to reach us at some other places too, you can also follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can listen to us on a lot of different platforms. I read them off every week, but we'll fill some time in. Acast, Google, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, even all those. You Google us, you can find us. We're in a lot of places. This intro song for this week, if I did my work right, it's the Zombie Island theme from last year, or no, 2 years ago. When did we do it? 2019. We did it in 2019. We took the same Zombie Island theme, but we are going to remix it, whether I do it or I find a remix, I don't know, but it'll be a remix. I want to do something different. But at the same time, I want to do the same, because guess what season it is, Ryan?
What season?
Well, we are back firmly into the Halloween season. Terror Time has struck again. That's what the name of the song was. Fuck, it's called Terror Time. I forgot. Man, what an intro. What a way to start this episode. Yes, we're back to Terror Time, and it's the new theme of 2021, Revenge of the Sequel. Are they good? Are they bad? How the hell should I know? That's what we're here to find out. And we'll start with today's great mover. That's called Scooby-Doo, Return to Zombie Island. Released in 2019, written by Jeremy Adams and directed by Cecilia Aronovich and Ethan Spalding, who you might remember from our Avatar episodes that we've been doing. Yeah, he did a few of those. Filmed and released straight to video, so no box office numbers to report. The cast includes Grog Strongjaw, Roger Rose, Cassandra Peterson, Dave B. Mitchell, David Herman, Janelle Cox, Kate McCucci? I think it's McCucci, right?
I think it's McCucci.
Matthew Lillard, who... Did he play the live action Shaggy?
He surely did.
Okay. I thought that was who it was. Gray Griffin, Frank Welker, and the one and only John Michael Higgins, who you might remember from Legend of Korra. We have not talked about it, but my boy's there. I love this man.
And in case y'all don't watch or listen to Critical Role, Grog Strongjaw is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Travis Willingham.
Indeed. I had to do John Michael Higgins because I figured if I threw just Varick, people would be like, okay, but who's that? Grog Strongjaw, I have a better feeling people know who that is more just because I think Critical Role has just pierced a lot of nerd fandoms enough where I assume there's some overlap with that. Just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for the folks who aren't.
Oh no, and I appreciate you stepping on that one for sure. If you haven't listened to Critical Role, I highly recommend it. Good show. Or watch it, I suppose. I listened to it because I do it for podcast format, but there's also a stream they do. So go check it out if you get a chance to. Highly recommend. There are no awards for this movie. I couldn't imagine why. Ryan, do you have some fun facts for me?
I do. I have 3, in fact. The director's name, Alan Smithy, is an inside joke to Hollywood directors who use that pseudonym to disavow their work / association with the film. God. I love how meta this movie actually gets.
Just a little bit.
Next up, several scenes from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island in 1998 are depicted in a flashback sequence. However, they are recreated with new animation to fit in context with this film.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And final fun fact, the movie celebrates 50 years of the Scooby-Doo franchise, with the digital release being 10 days before the 50th anniversary of the original series. This coincidentally ended up being the date of the 2019 Harvest Moon, aka the fated night that the were-cat sacrifice ritual takes place. It was also released shortly after the 20th anniversary of the original film.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's do some initial thoughts, real quick. I'm going to be honest, Ryan. I thought this was kind of bland. a little bit. I felt a little underwhelmed by it. I feel like there's a lot of bizarre decisions made for certain characters, but I'm looking forward to diving into that a little bit.
Okay. While I was not as impressed with it as the original, I still had a lot of fun with it. I particularly like how meta the movie gets in terms with just being self-aware and referential to the hijinks of the group. So I like that they used that to kind of not necessarily poke fun at itself, but also kind of poke fun at itself. So I had a fun time with it. It wasn't as vibrant as the original, but it was still a lot of fun.
Okay. I got a synopsis for you, Ryan. Are you ready?
Alright, let's get it.
After a lengthy intro sequence and some van porn, we cut to current time where Fred is depressed because he sold his vans for reasons we were never really told. The gang has apparently retired, and Shaggy and Scooby make them solemnly swear to go against their personalities and principles and never solve another mystery again. What good friends. The gang is invited to an island we're all familiar with. They are warned of zombies, but the gang is choosing to ignore it so the plot can continue. When they arrive at the tropical island, they were promised is actually a strange mansion in the middle of a swamp. And we get a painfully long flashback for a movie we're all familiar with because it's genuinely good. They're greeted by Varric, and we are eventually finding out that he is making a mover here. Zombies show up, eventually, to spook the gang. Scooby and Shaggy eventually allow the gang to go do their fucking jobs. They catch the zombies and reveal it's the cast of the mover. They apologize to Varric for spoiling the production and offer to help. Fred also gets reunited with a monster truck version of his van. But there's still half a mover left. Well, there are some mysterious cat people on the island as well, trying to steal Varric's pendant. He paid good money for it too, those bastards. So the gang lays a trap in an old cavern we've seen in a previous movie. They act as zombies to try to trick the cat people when they arrive to steal what they... let me start that over. They act as zombies while the cat people arrive to steal what they think is treasure. The gang catches them, unmasks them, to be some schmucks we met earlier in the island, and are arrested for what I assume is a terrorist charge? The clatter of cats arrive to start digging in the cave to reveal the real treasure on the island, the coveted One Piece. Varric claims it for himself and becomes the Pirate King, disavowing any further interest in the film industry. Probably a good idea. The gang decides to go back to solving mysteries because we have to continue milking this franchise.
And we still don't know who that fucking cat person is.
Oh yeah, the black cat person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie does a lot of interesting things and then does a lot of weird things. I'm of a mixed opinion on that one, for sure.
Yeah, interesting but weird is definitely how I'd put it. I mean, I kind of really enjoyed the fact that the original Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island was so based in the fact that every mystery that they uncover is just some schmuck in a mask, and they actually happen upon some supernatural shit, and they're like, oh shit, their master faces are coming off. What do we do with this? Like, I kind of really like that they did that. So to come back to Zombie Island to try and undo the supernatural kind of made me a bit
It did
sad.
because it robbed the series a little bit of the weird magic it had back then. And if I
Yeah.
remember right, too, they've done more movies since then. And they have encountered other supernatural phenomenon, if I remember right. Or maybe I'm wrong. I have not seen them all. If anyone out there can tell me, did they do any more actual, genuine supernatural creatures, or have they all been like just, oh hey, here's a supernatural phenomenon, we're gonna totally debunk it here? Because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the idea of the mystery game actually coming across real monsters and stuff. That just seems like a fun idea to me.
Yeah, and in the initial kind of montage of them solving a bunch of mysteries, they come across some stuff that pretty much that seems very fucking spooky. Like they're about to run over a vampire, and the vampire literally fucking turns into a bat, and then they hit the bat with the van. I'm just like, what?
But then,
the hell?
but then he's all, but then he's also in that pile up, and they unmask him. Like, so how the fuck could you do that?
You're right. This is just.
uh,
Or when they've got a mummy and they
Yes!
unravel it and then it just literally disappears. It's like,
you can't,
how do you explain that away?
So yeah, there's also an episode of Supernatural where they cross over with Scooby-Doo, which I know is not canon. I know this, but like it's the kind of mix of what I want from this show. Like I would love Scooby-Doo in general to be a mixture of unmasking people and hoaxes, but also finding real things and being genuinely spooked by them, because I think you could easily tread that ground pretty well if you build up the mysteries right and if you give plausible doubt to every story you go to, but not so much where they're impossible. And it would also give the show a bit more of an edge. Like, I'm not talking like be edgy edgelords and stuff, but like it gives you a chance to explore some darker themes that you don't have to dive so deep in that's depressing, but enough where it's like, oh, there's some really unsettling shit they get to see. We're not going to dive deep enough for you to be having nightmares, but enough where you're going to think about it.
Yeah. I agree. Just like you don't want to do it all the time or even most of the time, but every now and again, them getting a case that they get to the bottom of, but there is something supernatural or something that defies logic that they have to kind of accept in order to solve the case. It gives it just enough mystery so that everything from that point on, you're wondering, wait, is it actually a mummy? Maybe? Like, just once in a great while, once in a harvest moon, just give him an actual spooky thing.
Like, this is my dream idea for a D&D campaign. Is just, you go around solving mysteries, and sometimes it's a guy in a mask, sometimes it's an actual ghost, and sometimes it's the devil. But, like...
And sometimes it's
Well,
the
no,
devil.
but think about it. Like, you could either fight it, you could exorcise it, or you could unmask it, or you could try to befriend it, and, like, you know, maybe set its soul free or something. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of options you can go with. But, like, just like,
Absolutely.
the freedom of choice, but also the more focus on the mystery angle is just something I'd be more down for. And I think a really well done episodic D&D's campaign would do that well. And Scooby-Doo is a good like base for it, like just a good starting place. Like, okay, here's how they do it. Let's tweak some things a bit.
I already have a character build for this. If you ever want to do it,
I
I
know you do. I know you do. Speaking of characters, Ryan, how do you feel about Velma's characterization? I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but so in this film, she's obsessed with solving a mystery, which fine, but I feel like she goes a little too far because she gets to the point where she's denying events of previous adventures, namely the Zombie Island adventure, and I'm like, girl, you were there. You saw that guy's head fall off, and you saw these cat people try to fucking voodoo you guys. Please use your brain and just stop trying to make excuses for this shit.
Yeah, her being like, you know what, swamp gas, I'm now officially done with this place. It's just like, come on, girl. I get this place is pissing you off at this point, but damn, come on, you're supposed to be the logical one, please.
And like, I get there's some illogicalness to real zombies, but like, I don't know. When I saw the first movie, it seemed like everyone had accepted what happened and was willing to just roll with it. So it just seems weird that after all these years, where they haven't even aged, They they just don't want. She just suddenly is like, nope, it wasn't real. What didn't happen? And I'm like, no, girl, you were there. It happened, and you're referring to it multiple times. Like it did happen.
I think what really kind of lends credence to it, or not necessarily credence, but what kind of makes it more understandable is that the situation is reframed like 3 times in the course of the movie, where they get to this place and they're pretty sure it's the island that they've been to beforehand, but they're trying to ignore it because of Shaggy and Scooby, and then they're kind of left off the hook to actually do it, figure out they're on a movie set, and now they're doing a movie, and now there are cats. Fuck, and like, okay, sure, I guess, and but we'll set a trap for them, and then there's also another mystery with the black cat person that may actually be a fucking like werecat, and at that point Velma's just like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. We're putting a bow on this one. Just, it's solved. We're going on to the next one. That one I can kind of understand, but the fact that it's Velma and the fact that it's like she is the super smart and logical one, it's just really like, you know what? I'm washing my hands of this. It was swamp gas. Like that part kind of made me sad.
I could kind of give that to like maybe Shaggy or Freddy, who like are done with it. Like Freddy's like, I want to move on and just go home. This is starting to bug me a little bit. Or Shaggy like just being like, I'm too scared to deal with this. Let's just make an excuse and go home. I could get it to them. Velma just seems like a weird choice.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly
Speaking
agree.
of characters doing weird things, is Shaggy right to demand the game no longer solve mysteries? And why doesn't he just leave the group if it bothers him so much?
I think originally it makes sense because they're like 99 times out of 100 they are used as bait. And so like them like, no, I'm sick of it. Let's do one thing where it's not a fucking mystery. Can we just not? Can we please? So like I get that. And like I could, if it was just if it was like a single thing, like a let's do one thing where we're not on a mystery, but like I would understand. But him saying no, we're just not doing mysteries, period, from here on out, from here until eternity, until we make you take back the promise, was kind of a bullshit
It was
move. Yeah.
And what bugs me the most about it is, like I said, if this has been bothering him so much, like like I said, this has been years and years of them doing this, and he's constantly been the bait. It's like, dog, if this bothers you so much, why don't you just go find a new group? I mean, certainly you have the chops for a D&D player. Go do that. Dude, can you imagine Scooby and Shaggy just sitting down in a basement with somebody just like doing some D&D all night?
Oh my god, I would kill to have Scooby as a DM. Absolutely.
Dude, you would understand half the shit that dog's saying. Dude, your voice is solid for that one. I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared. Okay, so so was it weird to you two how much focus they put on the mystery machine in the first 5 minutes of the movie? Like,
it wasn't weird when I realized that they were pretty much hanging Fred's whole character arc on the mystery machine, especially considering the fact that it's so essential to the identity of the group. The fact that it's revealed that he sold it is just like a fucking slap in the face. So I guess I understand it. I understand.
I wish I knew why they sold it. Like, I know they said...
Me too. I think it was kind of just to give Fred something to do, though.
It feels very forced for his character. Like, I get it. He's the Cyclops of the group. There's really not a whole lot for him to do. But at the same time, it's like, you certainly could have come up with something more interesting than this. Like, this just seems so bizarre. And the fact he could recognize his vehicle, like, just by the sound it makes, like, dog, I know there are some people who say they can do that. I don't believe it. Maybe if you built the...
See, here's the thing. If the sound that he kept hearing was the actual mystery machine, I'd be like, okay. But the fact that it's a monster truck version of it that looks like the Mystery Machine vaguely, I'm like, bruh, come on. You're just hearing a van. You're just hearing a random van around there, and you just want it to be the Mystery
And then he fucking
Machine.
insults that one guy's van like it's just a piece of shit.
Oh, dude. I was like Fred was surprising me with the level of fucking sass he was bringing in terms of this fucking van. You know, he's like, it looks like my tire got slashed. Good. What? Why? Why is it good, Fred? Fucking hell, dude. Breathe.
And, like, I like how you call it a character arc. I'm like, it really wasn't an arc. Nothing changed. He just got happy when he had a monster truck he could drive around for a few minutes.
Yeah, the term character arc was in was in bold quotation marks. It's just something for his character to be occupied with.
Like, I know Scooby and Shaggy are the stars of the show, but, like, is there any arc you could really give Fred that makes him compelling? Like, I know they've tried the on and off thing with Daphne, and I don't know how well that works. But, like, is there anything you can do with Fred himself that, like, would be remotely interesting?
I mean, I kind of liked it when he was trying to do as the stuntman was doing and like really live up to the whole man of action idea of him in the group. I liked that. That was fun. But having his whole character focus be hung around the van seemed just it seemed shallow.
Now, if it was like one of those like vans, you had like a waterbed in the back and you fucked in it, they're like, okay, I can kind of see that, but...
I mean, the shag carpeting, man, come on.
But like, unless that van fucks, I mean, there's no point in tying your identity to it, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, like, maybe you do an episode where, like, he's not in charge, or maybe, like, he's, like, he volunteers to be the bait himself.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he's really in charge, like, 9 times out of 10. It's either Daphne or Velma, like, figuring out something interesting and them moving on it as a group, or Shaggy and Scooby, like, just fucking off to go eat something and then stumbling into the next bit of the mystery. And then Fred kind of takes the lead when, like high octane things are happening, but aside from that, I don't even really know how you call him the leader.
Man,
maybe it's just because he's the blonde guy with the fucking ascot.
Man, if I could go back in time to when they were first making Scooby-Doo and just help them rewrite some scripts, I would do some fun shit with Fred. I would make him more fun. He'd probably try drugs at one point and then be like, oh man, this is not me. I can't do this.
No, Shaggy is the drug.
No. We
Come
already
on,
know
guys.
he can do drugs. It's fine. Fred's gonna try them and reject them.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the Flanders of the group.
He's like, oh my god, I gotta get my fucking life together, man. Just Fred becomes a burnout for an episode.
Yes, such a great.
Jesus Christ. He had such a bright future, and then he tried marijuana.
We need to just write it up. That should be one of our pre-rolls. We just write an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Shaggy warns him off. Is like, hey, Zoinks, man. This stuff isn't for you. It gets you too paranoid.
Yeah, fuck off, Shaggy. Give me those shrooms.
Oh, God. Then we cut to Fred in rehab, and then it gets too real, and we have to remember it's a fucking kid's show, and we have to get back to unmasking old men dressed as sea monsters.
Well, no. What you do is you reveal that all the masks that they've been pulling is just in Fred's weird paranoid psychotic delusions.
No!
What he's really been doing is taking people's faces off.
Oh my god. And then he's voiced by Nicolas Cage for some odd reason.
No. He goes to rehab and Nicolas Cage is just there like, oh man, I know what you've been through. I've been there. What was the goal? We gotta write it down. Okay, some more bizarre choices I have to ask. Ryan, we know Moonscar Island is in the New Orleans area, right? So, nowhere near anything tropical. How did they only start asking questions when they were in the bayou?
It was their stubborn refusal to acknowledge anything mystery related. They're like, no, wait, but this doesn't look right. Nope, 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 nope. No mysteries, no mysteries. We're just gonna go with it. We're just gonna go with it. It was dumb, but it was knowingly dumb. Like they were acknowledging the fact that this shit is just absolutely incorrect, but that they had to keep the promise to Shaggy. So I actually liked it because it was self-aware of how stupid the premise was, and it was leaning into it.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. How did you feel seeing the events of the first film in this new animation style?
I didn't mind it. I don't have as keen of an eye for animation as you do, so I'm sure you have very strong opinions. I personally didn't think the original art style was bad. In fact, I thought it was really, really nice. This just felt different. It felt like it wasn't really. It didn't really get to flex on the innovations of animation until we got to like the big action pieces towards the end, where you've got like the jumps with the van and like all those big things. I felt like it didn't really get to flex on its new animation processes until then, but everything else up until that was just subtle. It was different, but I didn't find it particularly like better, if that makes sense.
Fair. I do have some words, some thoughts. I think that, so if you're gonna do it, I suppose it's fine to reanimate, to kind of tie it in, to make it all cohesive. But the old animation style still, to me, looks better. And I think the reason for that is because when you were doing it back then, it was if I remember it right, it felt like a grittier kind of design look, like not like dark and everything, but like it just felt a little more it felt less clean, I guess is the best way to put it. And I think that really works well for a swamp based zombie film, because nothing about that shit sounds clean. It gives you it has a good style to it. The animation also felt smoother, it had better shading. This new one feels too clean and too bold with the line work, and I just feel like it doesn't have the same level of detail as the original. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that the zombies aren't going to all have different costumes like they did before, because they're just zombie costumes, not zombies from different eras of history. But you have to admit, though, that does feel a little less visually impressive compared to the first film, which had like hordes of zombies that were pirates and tourists and soldiers and other things from all sorts of different fucking time periods. Like, that just looks really neat to see all that happen. And here you have these schmucks in costumes, and they just look so generic, I guess is the best way to put it.
That's valid. That's a very valid criticism, and I hadn't really thought about it until you mentioned it.
And maybe that's what I'm getting the bland feeling from, is a lot of this film feels very flat and generic in terms of its like visual style. Because the meta commentary is interesting, but when you look at it as a visual set piece, like, it just, aside from the action bits that use the animation innovations in good ways, a lot of it just feels very clean. And I don't know, when you go back to old Scooby-Doo, and I'm not saying it was always perfect, because definitely they recycled animation like fucking clockwork, because that's what you did back in the old 60s Hanna-Barbera days, but at least when it came to like the middle age stuff, so like the 90s and early 2000s, like, they did put enough polish in there that everything looked really good, really dark, but also really interesting. And I don't know, I'm getting very specific and detailed, but there's just something about that style that I really appreciate. Maybe it's a nostalgia thing for me since I grew up with it, but I don't know.
Okay. This has been Animator's Corner with AJ.
I'm not even an animator, but I just have seen enough where I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I like.
No, but I like that. It's. I think you're bringing up you're definitely bringing up some valid points there, and I think listeners who are also as keen on animation as you are, we'll definitely agree. So if you want to talk the finer points of animation with Aaron, or just give him another perspective, please go ahead and hit us up in the comments below or our email.
Absolutely. And I do want to say I'm not like anti new styles of animation. Just to be clear, so for example, I think something like Final Space is animated perfectly, because it fits the tone and the style and the aesthetic, and they use some really solid, like, just smooth animation motions to make the characters pop. The ones in this, aside from a few scenes, feel very stiff. And I think a lot of animation that uses bolder line work like this does tend to feel kind of stiff. And I'm not sure if they're trying to emulate the old style from back in the day, where they did actually move a little more stiff back in the 60s, but it doesn't fully work here. I think if you're gonna, up the quality of the animation, definitely shoot for the moon, make it really pop. And it doesn't pop here 100% like some of the newer stuff I've seen does. But I don't know. I'll have to see other Scooby-Doo movies and really compare to get a full feature of it. I want to see the one where I think it's like the Phantosaur is what the movie is about, and I think that's the one where everyone makes the meme for Shaggy going Super Saiyan.
What?
Did you not hear about this?
No, what the hell is that?
So, I don't know the name of the movie. I think it's like Enter the Phantosaur or Mystery of the Phantosaur. That's not the important part. The part of the movie where Shaggy is, from what I remember reading, Shaggy is hypnotized to kind of, let go of his fears, because that's kind of holding him back and it's freaking him out or something. And so, once he, lets go of his fears, there's a scene where it takes place in, a diner or a bar or something, and the gang's just hanging out, and, this biker guy tries to start some shit, and so Shaggy, fights him, and he fights, a whole group of bikers, and apparently he's, fucking Ultra Instinct Shaggy, where he's just dodging everything perfectly, because he has no fear. And, this is a dumb concept, but I kind of want to see the whole movie and just see how this plays out. This sounds fun.
I'm absolutely going to have to check out the YouTube video of that after we record.
I'll see if I can find it for you real quick.
What the hell is that?
Let's see here. Images. No, videos. I want videos. Here we go. Let's see if I can find something. Let's see. I'm gonna mute the video so I can just make sure it's the right one. I might cut this part of the video of the episode here. Yep, I think this is it here. So I'll put it in the chat, and you can watch it at your leisure, but I will move on to the next question now that I've gotten that going.
Fantastic.
Let's see. At what point in the film did you start suspecting Varric was not who he appeared to be?
I mean, when we were introduced to Varric, pretty much. I personally love how out of place they all are, but that it's obviously out of place. I just really like the meta things that they do with the storyline. But I think my favorite early Varric line is when the zombies are attacking, he goes, "What are we gonna do?" And they just look at him, and he goes, "Wait, let me try that again." "The zombies are attacking. What are we going to do?" Nailed it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Aren't you being recorded right now, guy? What's happening? I just those moments were just hilarious for me. But yeah, no, once we were introduced to that guy, it's just he's obviously not who he appears to be.
I got suspicious the minute they started revealing the other people involved in the production, because they were talking about how pretty they were. All the things that Velma points out, it was super obvious when they said oh, hey, these guys are really pretty, and then the guy does the Shakespeare quote. I'm like, okay, what the fuck's up with this dude?
Yes, and I'm like, wow, guys, somebody took one improv class and just went to town.
Yeah, yes, and
God damn it.
I miss what's the original guy's name, the fisherman who Mark Hamill played. I wish he'd just pop back in for a minute. That would have been funny. But no, overall, I will say I did like that part when they revealed it. Again, a little underwhelming on the zombies thing, but I do appreciate the fact that they had like a red herring mystery, hiding the real mystery, hiding another mystery. Like, there's something about that does intrigue me a little bit.
Mysteryception.
It's a shame they never actually solved the last mystery, but Velma gave up, so...
That kind of really irked the hell out of me. I'm like, wait, they're dead ass not gonna figure that.
Well, no,
okay.
Velma looked
right.
at watch, and she's like, "Oh, the movie's almost over. It's Swamp Gas. Let's go home."
Like guys, we're out of runtime. We gotta wrap this up.
Fred looks at her and is like, "But we're not in a movie theater. We can run as long as we want to." She's like, "No, the runtime is too long. We need to go." I guess, speaking of which, Ryan, were you disappointed to find out the zombies were not only the zombies were fake, but that the cat people were this time around too?
I was, but they also they just gloss over the fact that the cat people originally were real cat people and, like, actually fucking turned to dust when it was all said and done. It's just like, nope, they were guys in masks. Nope, we pulled off their masks. Don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
We were all hallucinating. It's just like, so we're just gonna completely ignore the whole mystery of this island. That kind of makes me sad.
And I mean, if you had been keeping your promise the whole way through the movie, I could understand you wanting to not go through with it. But the fact that they gave you permission to go back and do your mystery solving, and you're like, nah, I'm not gonna solve this one. Like, okay, so what did we learn here? What was the point? Also, Daphne didn't really get to do anything this week, did she?
Not anything too ridiculous. I mean, she was generally, very capable and intelligent in regards to, like, putting the mystery together,
I mean, like...
but I can't point, like, a specific thing that she does, like, very well.
But I'm saying, like, there's no arc for her or anything. Like, it's mostly just Fred freaking out, Velma, having her freak out, and then Shaggy doing his usual thing.
Oh, yeah. She was definitely more of a supporting character this time around.
Also, from what I read, this is, like, a direct sequel, not only to original Zombie Island, but literally like a direct sequel to the previous film that was released called the 13th Ghost, which is like a wrap-up of the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo. So, from what I understand, there is some stuff that ties into that film, but, like, I couldn't find anything that specifically said what I need to know from that one that carries over to this, other than the police officer that gives him shit apparently was in that movie as well. That's all I could really find. So, if anyone listening knows about that movie and wants to tell me other things that are important that I need to know, maybe that's when they sold the Mystery Machine, and I don't know about it. If it is, let me know. I would love to hear.
Watch, this is actually what's going to drive up our member interactions. Just like somebody coming in and schooling us on the Scooby-Doo lore.
Dude, if we get someone who's going to school some Scooby-Doo lore, we're going to make a guest episode just for him to show up, or her, and be like, yo, hey, listen, just tell me everything you know about Scooby-Doo. And then, like, 3 hours later, okay, please shut up and go away. And then, last question I really have here. It's not a long film, by any means. How unnecessary do you think the sequel was?
Honestly, very. I think it was very unnecessary. So again, I like the meta content, and I think if they're gonna go and do a sequel to this one, particularly because it was also pretty meta the first time around and self-aware, the fact that they kept it as self-aware in terms of its comedy was good. I think that was a great choice. But in terms of how bad we needed a sequel to it, I don't think at all. Particularly when the emphasis of it is to undo the mystery of the first one. Like, I kind of liked that this was one of the very rare ones where there actually wasn't a logical explanation. They had to embrace the illogical in order to actually figure everything out.
Yeah, like that was, like we said earlier, that level of mysteriousness and the unexplainable, that's a cool thing to have every now and then. So to kind of mythbuster it, but not even really properly mythbuster it, little disheartening.
Yeah.
I would say that, yeah, of all the ones you did a sequel for, I wouldn't have done one for Zombie Island. I think that was actually kind of perfect the way it was to start with. I mean, we gave it fucking glowing praise last time. If you're going to do a sequel for anything Scooby-Doo related, I think the previous film, The 13th Ghost, sounds like a better concept, because from what I understand, the 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo never got an official ending. So they never actually got to see the 13th Ghost in The 13th Ghost of Scooby-Doo.
What?
So this other movie acted like kind of like as a what do you call it, it's like the Batman Beyond episode in Justice League. It just acted like an extra finale for the show that got canceled before it was actually done. Which I think is a better sequel idea. If you could take something that didn't quite work the first time or didn't finish the first time and finish it with the sequel or update with the sequel, that's the way you do it. That's how you fucking nail that shit. If you have something that's really good and doesn't need a sequel, don't bother with it. You don't need to fucking poison the well.
That's Hollywood, man. They're literally. I don't think they're ever gonna learn that lesson.
No, unfortunately not. It's kind of like in video games. Like, I want remakes of the games that sucked because you can make them better versus the ones that did work because, hey, you know what? That one worked. I don't need it again. Give me remake Sonic 2006. That one fucking was broken. Please make a better version. Or Devil May Cry 2. From what I hear, that one's also broken. Please remake that. That is all I have question-wise. Ryan, is there anything that you wanted to bring up that I may have missed?
I don't believe so. No, I think we covered everything.
So we have a little bit of extra time here. Let me see if I can find something real quick.
Also one more thing. I think during essentially the recap of the first episode of the first movie, I loved that while they were trying to do it because, you know, it's a sequel to like a film that was made 20 years ago at this point. I think it was hilarious to have Shaggy constantly saying, we know this. You're recapping stuff that I was there for. Why are you telling me this?
I'm trying to find a list of Scooby-Doo movies, and is this it? Yes, here it is. Here's what I'm looking for. Okay, so animated and directed. Okay, so here is a list. So this is kind of my last new unofficial question. Of the movies in this list, Ryan, which ones interest you most for going back and checking them out? We obviously aren't going to commit to doing them, but if we had to pick a couple, which ones stand out to you as like, oh, this actually would be a fun idea?
Oh my god! Just because I know Nick would love it, we could do Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery.
I figured you'd probably hit that one. There's also a sequel to that one called Curse of the Speed Demon.
Yeah, I'd love to do Scooby-Doo and Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh yeah, that was a thing they did, isn't it?
Absolutely. And my other pick would be Scooby-Doo and the Samurai Sword.
Which one's that? Where's that at?
That's the 13th one.
That does sound kind of cool. I see Shaggy with some chopsticks and shit. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Scooby-Doo and the Goblin King, only because I hope that, what's his name? The Goblin King from, Labyrinth is in there. Shit, what's the name again? David Bowie. I want David Bowie to be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a solid list here. Honestly, if we want to do like a whole season as we could, and then we'd probably kill ourselves, but we could.
Yeah.
So that's all for questions. This is part of the episode where we reach out to you guys, the viewers, the listeners. You tell us, what do you want us to see? Do you want us to see more Scooby-Doo? Please say no. Please say, like, maybe just a specific... just say specific ones. We won't do all of them, but like if there's a specific one like Jones and 4, we can check it out. Or if there's other movies that you want to see. I refuse, Ryan, to do the live-action Scooby-Doo. I've seen enough times to know it's not good.
No, please don't make me do that.
But also, You can reach out to us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want to email us directly with your requests or your challenges to the throne of the Iowa Film Critics Association, you can reach out to us where, Ryan?
They can reach out to us at Vans Are Not a Good Stand-In for Character Arcs at you. Excuse me. That's evacstation at gmail.com.
Man, I can't deal with van stands right now. It's ridiculous.
Van stands. I can't even do a handstand, let alone a bandstand. I'm so sorry.
No, I'll take it. That's a good one. That's a good one. This is the part of the episode where we rank the films from platinum to trash on the codes in between. I know we usually have a rating scale that's a little different for horror movies, but I don't even know if that really applies to this one because, like, it's so in between. Like, it's not really, like, super great. It's not really super bad. It's kind of in the middle.
I think if there's an actual bucket of blood for Scooby-Doo, we've done something terribly wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also I don't want to say fuck it either. I mean, well, I don't know. Like I said, I was really underwhelmed by it. I really kind of wish the pirate treasure they found was the One Piece. That would have been hilarious. Of course, if it's like everyone theorized, it's just the friendship they made along the way, so that would have been nothing.
It was revealed that they had the One Piece all along. Oh my god. It's too after credits. It's too after school, especially even for Scooby-Doo.
Just a little bit. I know. I would probably rank it if we're doing the classic Halloween theme. I would probably go with the fuck it method. You don't need to see it. It's not like it's revolutionary. It doesn't do anything better than the original or outstanding compared to other animated films we've seen. And it's not really even spooky or anything like that. It's just kind of, I don't know, weird.
It's kind of there.
It's there and it's weird. That's all it really is.
I mean, like they had some fun poking fun at themselves, but I don't think it's enough to save it or to make me tell you to go see it.
But I will say, if you have seen other Scooby-Doo movies and want to recommend them, like we said before, just let us know and maybe we'll take a look. Ryan, next week. Oh, actually, did you want to give your ranking, or are you in the same boat?
I'm relatively in the same boat. If we were gonna do the actual ranking methods, I'd probably give it a very low bronze because it made me laugh, but really that's it.
I'd probably go stone myself, but it's a close call.
I feel bad giving it a stone. I don't feel like it does like things wrong per se. It just doesn't have any like real glowing moments or real glowing bits.
That's fair. Next week, so let's see. So by the time this comes out, we'll have already recorded it. But you'll get within the week, you will get Ghostbusters as a premiere episode or premium episode on the Patreon. So please go check it out because we're building up to Ghostbusters 3 when it comes out. I think it got delayed, so it will not be in the proper Halloween season month, which is a little disappointing, but it will be around somewhere. Also, next week on the main feed, you'll be getting Quiet Place 2.
And you know I'm streaming in this one, guys, so please make my fear worth it, all right? Come watch that one.
Come watch the origin of Dad Halpert being Dad Halpert.
Aww.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
All the streets